Hello, whoever you are. This is day 6 of the Norway cruise. So on this day, um, we docked at Alder the night before. So today was the day we actually explored Alder. The thing we signed up for in Alder was a tour of Alder. The main feature being Alder Cathedral. So in the morning, we had our breakfast and went outside and uh, got a got a bus to go from the dock into Alder, and as part of this bus, there was a tour guide, German, who was living in Alder as a student, and just talking about Alder in general. It's not a very big town. Well, by the standards of northern Norway, it's quite big because it's a pretty sparsely populated area. Apparently, Alder is sort of a collection of was a collection of villages that they then got joined up with more recent construction. So, as the tour guide put it, the town centre wasn't very organic in its origins. It was all sort of new build stuff. So yeah, he explained some of the stuff around Alda. He mentioned, for example, that there's a university there which he studies at, but it only teaches 5 courses. Um, and point out some other features like there's a bowling alley, for example. So there wasn't really much to talk about in terms of what they have there. When we got to the cathedral, it was very small for a cathedral, to be honest. It was more akin to a normal church in size. It was an interesting construction. Like, it's a recently built cathedral. It didn't look like wasn't like a normally shaped church or cathedral. Like, the layout wasn't like a cross. It was more of a circle, and then when you look at the walls, they sort of into the roofs. It sort of like has a spirally pattern. Um, and we went in there, and yeah, it certainly wasn't a normal looking cathedral. Like, for example, it had a giant statue of Jesus, but sort of just staying there, not on a cross. And the cathedral also had under it like an exhibition on the Northern Lights. So watched a film that had various video footage of the Northern Lights. That was pretty good to see. Um, yeah, once we got out of the cathedral, the tour continued. They mentioned that a lot of this construction is also new. Well, not just because they built up the stuff in the villages, but there was also a lot of buildings that did exist were burnt down by the Germans in World War II as they were sort of leaving Norway towards the end. Um, and Yeah, that was pretty much it for the tour. Afterwards, my dad and I went into like a shopping center, um, and there wasn't too much to note in there. It was sort of just like a regular shopping center you'd find in the UK. Went into a board game shop, looked at that for a while, saw some games I recognized there, like Code Names and Dominion. Um, and Yeah, that was pretty much for Alda. So went back on the ship, and then in terms of what we did the rest of the day, the only thing worth noting was went to performance. The saxophonist on the previous day and the singer on the previous day were both performing again, like one after the other. And yeah, their performances were fine. The saxophonist actually played a song I recognized just because it was a song that Lisa Simpson plays on The Simpsons with a saxophone, which is the only reason why I know that song. So that was cool to watch. But yeah, nothing else to note there. We also did a quiz. Did I think we did fairly badly on the quiz? We got like half the marks right. Um, I also got my parents to do like a Scandinavian quiz I created, although it was a sort of unfinished. It was only 15 questions. I also didn't create any multiple choice answers for some of the harder ones, so it'll be a pretty hard quiz. I think my mum got 5 out of 15 and my dad got 7 out of 15, and I would wager if I gave if I gave most people I knew this quiz, I think most people would do worse than they did. Um, but yeah, anyway, that's uh that's it for that day basically.